In this session, we will see how to assign structural profiles to user IDs using the info type 1017. Now, using the info type 1017, we assign the structural profile to the user's position and then run the program rhprofl0 to make an entry in the table T77UA. And that is the table which contains the list of user ID and the associated structural profiles. Now, in this demo, we are going to use the data for a manager, Raymond Chan, who manages this org unit, and he holds this position. And these are the partners which are under Raymond Chan's span of control. Now, Raymond Chan also has some other users, but just for demo purposes, we take two partners for Raymond Chan. Now, before we go and assign the structure profile to this user using info type 1017, we will make some checks as to what access Raymond Chan has, whether Raymond Chan's user ID has been linked to his partner, and also if in the table T77UA, if there is any, we'll make sure that there is no entry for Raymond Chan. So the first check that we'll make is to see whether Raymond Chan's user ID is assigned to his partner. So let's go to ppom_old and let's take, it's not if this is a position, and let's go to staff assignments and pick up Raymond Chan's partner. So Raymond Chan's partner is 70059. So let's go and open up another session and go to PA20 and see what's the ID for Raymond Chan in info type 105. Let's go to display. So user ID is Archan. Now let's make two checks before we see how to assign the structure profile to the user ID. The first check that we will make is to see what kind of access Archan has. So let's go to SU01 and go and give Archan, so display. Roles. So there are no roles assigned, but we have SAP all assigned. Now in a production system, remember there is nobody who will be having SAP all. This is for our own demo purposes that we are doing. In production environment, in a real-time scenario, you'll have roles assigned to the user. And those roles could be assigned directly or indirectly. So let's go and check one more check whether this assignment, whether Archan has any structure profile assigned, and there's no structure profile assigned. Now, in order to test further, let us ensure that the structure profile ZHR manager is linked with Archan's org unit. So we specify the starting org unit for the structure profile in the transaction OOSP. So we get a list of structure profiles. This is our structure profile. So select that and then double click on it. And we have, let's go and remove this. So this is the structure profile for, now this is org unit for rchan, and that's been assigned. So let's go and save it. Now let's go and assign the structure profile CHR manager to rchan's position. So rchan's position is 500125003. Let's confirm that 500125003. So we are going to assign the structure profile to the position, and then we'll make use of the info type 1017 1017. To maintain the position, the transaction code is PO13. So let's go and enter rchan's position there. Say to 12503. Say 12503. And scroll down a little bit for info type 1017. Now info type 1017 is PD profiles. So let's select the PD profiles info type and click on create. Now if you see here, if an entry has been, a record exists for a particular info type, you will see a tick mark against that info type. So these are the info types, and you have a tick mark, so which means a record exists for this info type, and relationships info type, vacancy info type, employee group subgroup info type. But there is no record for PD profiles info type. Now this PD profiles, the code for this is 1017. So let's go select that and click on create to make a entry for that profile, that info type. Enter the profile structure profile name that you want to associate with that position. So this position, and click on save. So if you see, now the record exists for this info types, that's why you have a tick mark here. Now let's go and check whether the structure profile is associated with the user ID now in the table T77UA. So let's open up another session just to confirm that. So execute the transaction OSB, and you still don't see the user ID rchan here. Okay, so now to complete the process of assigning the user ID to the structure profile, you go and execute the program rhpro fl0. So let's go to SA38 and give the program rhpro fl0 and execute. Now we are assigning the structure profile to the position. So the object type has to be S, and the object ID we give rchan's position ID. So 500125003. Remove the checkbox for test session and execute. So if everything is fine, then you'll get this green traffic light. If everything is incomplete, you'll get a yellow traffic light. If there is a problem, you'll get a red traffic light. So this green light indicates that this structural profile ZHM manager has now been assigned to the user ID rchan. Let's go to transaction code OOSB again. And check that out now. So you see the user ID rchan here. Now we'll log in with the user ID rchan and see whether the user has access to the partners within his span of control and whether he has access to the partners which are not in his span of control. So we'll pick these two partners and a couple of partners from Dennis Sutton's span of control and check this out. So let's log in with rchan and see what partners he can access. So we logged in with rchan. So let's go and execute the transaction P820 and let us enter 70060, which is under his span of control. So let's confirm that in the org structure. 70060 is under his span of control and 70082 is also under his span of control. So rchan should be able to see the employee data of all these employees and who are reporting to him. So let's go and give 70060 and hit the enter key. So he's able to see the employee data for Joyce Berry, who is reporting to him. Let's take another partner, 70082, who is Connie Sang. So let's go and assign, look at 82. He has access to Connie Sang also. Now let us pick a partner which is not under Raymond Chan's span of control. Let's take 70081. So let's pick 70081 and hit the enter key. And Raymond Chan does not have access to 7081. And because 70081 is an employee who reports to Dennis Sutton. Ms. Sharon Russell, she is reporting to Dennis Sutton. That's why Raymond Chan does not have access to Sharon. Let's pick another partner from Dennis Sutton, say 70102. So let's pick that 70102. Hit the enter key and have access to Jerry Harris. So if you observe, even though Raymond Chan has SAP all, when it comes to HR data, the structural authorizations, the structure profile is preventing Raymond Chan from accessing HR data of employees who are not part of his span of control. That is, employees who are not reporting to him. Now if you click on this icon I here, for example, and this icon you could use it for troubleshooting purposes also to understand what objects in the org structures Raymond Chan is able to access. So click on I and you will see all the partners who are reporting to Raymond Chan, or rather you will see all has access to. So for example, Raymond Chan has access to all this partner and he belongs to this org unit. Now we are not seeing the position IDs here because in the structural evaluation path, when we defined the evaluation path Z manager, we had checked that skip checkbox for positions. So The evaluation path reads the positions which are under Archan's OR unit, but because we selected that skip checkbox, the system does not display those IDs, the position IDs. Now let us go and do one more check. Now Raymond Chan doesn't have access to employees who are reporting to Dennis Sutton. Now let us see what the problem that we'll have if we use this individual assignment of OR unit IDs in structural profiles. So let's go to OSP for structural profiles. Select our structural profile and double click on the profile maintenance folder. And now let us assign the same structural profile with the sequence 20, plan version 01, object type is O, and let us also give access to Dennis Sutton, and he manages this OR unit 500-12488. So 500-12488, and the evaluation path is ZHR manager. So let's save it. So you have two entries for the same structure profile but with different object IDs. Now this object ID is managed by Raymond Chan, and the other one 12488, this one is managed by Dennis Sutton. Now let us see what the problem with this mechanism is. When you assign the individual OR units in the structure profile for the same structure profile. Now technically speaking, Richard Chan should not be accessing employee data of employees who are not part of his span of control. Raymond Chan should not be able to access Sharon Russell's data or Jerry Harris's data, or for that matter Charlene Becker's data. So let's go back, and now let us execute the P820 transaction code again and see, by making this change like this, is there any difference in Raymond Chan's access. Now if you see here, because this was already there, Jerry Harris, Raymond Chan, R. Chan is able to access Jerry Harris's data now, the HR data, and Jerry Harris is reporting to Dennis Sutton. So if you use this mechanism, all the managers will whose object IDs or unit IDs you enter here in this list, all those managers will be able to see all the OR units, which is what you may not want. So again, that is one problem, and the second problem is, for every manager you will have to maintain a record here, which could be a maintenance nightmare for you. So instead of that, you could use a function module to capture the start object ID and dynamically at runtime. So depending on which manager is logging in, the functional module will make sure that he or she has access to their own OR units. So to summarize, there are two ways you can assign the structure profile to the users. One is directly by using the transaction OOSB. The other is by using the info type 1017. But when we use the info type 1017, you also have to use the program, run the program RHPRO FL0.